Hi boys and girls, it's time to work on lesson 9.6. You'll need your mouse clocks that you made last week handy, your lesson packet, and a pencil. Let's work on lesson 9.6. So first, let's just do a little bit of review with our clocks. Remember, the long hand on the clock points to the minutes, and there are 60 minutes around our clock. And when we have it right up at the 12, it means there are no minutes after the hour. And our short hand on our clock points to the hours. So this time right here would be 8 o'clock. This one right here would be 6 o'clock. This one where both hands are up on the 12, this one would be 12 o'clock. Let's do one more review. This one would be 4 o'clock. Now, in our packet, if you look at it, first you have to just fill in the missing numbers. And in here, of course, this would be a 3. And this one would be a 9. And then you're filling in the missing numbers going around on your clock. At the top, remember, would be your 12. At the bottom would be your 6. And that would be on your clock. And then we could just pick a time to show. Let's just show 4 o'clock. So we're going to have a long hand pointing to the 12 and a short hand pointing to the 4, and that would be 4 o'clock. Now you can turn your page. And at the top it says, what does this clock show? They're only pointing to the hour hand here. So I like to draw the long minute hand right up on the 12 for these, just to remind me that that one says 3 o'clock. Now our next one down here, I know you can't see my paper well, so I'm going to do it with my little mouse clock. And the first one, it has the hour hand pointing to the 9. And there isn't a minute hand, so I'm going to draw the long minute hand pointing to the 12. And that one would be 9 o'clock. So on your paper, this is how you would write it. You would write 9 ... 00 as your digital time for 9 o'clock. The next one on your paper, the hour hand's pointing to the 1. I like to draw the minute hand going up to the 12, and that one would be 1 o'clock. So for number 2, you would write 1 ... 00, and you have 1 o'clock. Our next one, the hour hand is pointing to the 11, so on my mouse clock, I'm going to make my hour hand point to the 11. I'm going to draw that minute hand up to the 12, and that one would be 11 o'clock. And here's how I would write the digital time. I'd write an 11 ... 00, and I have 11 o'clock. Going to our next one, number 4. The hour hand is pointing down to the 6. I'll draw my long minute hand up to the 12. And remember, we're looking at what the hour is pointing to, and that one would be 6 o'clock. So for number 4, we would write 6 ... 00 to show 6 o'clock. Our next one, number 5, the hour hand is pointing to the 7. You can go ahead and draw that long minute hand up to the 12, and that one would be 7 o'clock. You would write 7 ... 00 to show 7 o'clock. The last one on this page, the hour hand is pointing to the 5. Go ahead and draw your minute hand up to the 12, and that one would be 5 o'clock. You'd write a 5 ... 00, 5 o'clock. Let's turn our page. Actually just flip it over. We have some more just like that. This one, the hour hand is pointing to the 4. Go ahead and draw your minute hand up to the 12. That one would be 4 o'clock. So we write 4 ... 00 to show 4 o'clock. Our next one, our hour hand is pointing to the 10. Go ahead and draw the long minute hand up to the 12, and we would write 10 o'clock. 10 ... 00 for 10 o'clock. Our next one would be number 9. Again, it's pointing to the 6. and then your minute hand, goes up to the 12. So we have 6 o'clock again. So we would write that one, 6 dot dot 0 0 to show 6 o'clock. Our next one, the hour hand is pointing up to the 12, and our minute hand, our longer one, should also point up to the 12. So that one would be 12 o'clock. We'd write 12 dot dot 0 0 for 12 o'clock. Our next one, we're on number 11. The hour hand is pointing to the 1. Go ahead and draw your minute hand up to the 12, and that one would be 1 o'clock. We'd write 1 dot dot 0 0 to show 1 o'clock. Our last one in that section, number 12, the hour hand is pointing to the 3. Go ahead and draw your minute hand up to the 12. That would be 3 o'clock. So we would write 3 dot dot 0 0 to show 3 o'clock. Now at the bottom we have a different question. It says, on Ray's clock, the hour hand points to the 9. Circle Ray's clock. So let's look at what the hour hands are pointing to. The first one, it's pointing to the 11. Our second one is pointing to the 9, and the third one to the 10. And we said Ray's clock is pointing to the hour hand on the 9, so we would circle our middle clock there. Let's go to the back of that lesson 9.6, and let's see if we can answer our next questions. This one, it says, which time is not the same? So we have an 11 here, a 1 o'clock, the words after the number 1 o'clock, and pointing to the hour hand of 1. Well, the one that doesn't match would be the one that is the 11. It says circle it. The rest of those mean the same thing as 1 o'clock. Number 15, it says Manny leaves for school at 8 o'clock. Write and draw to show 8 o'clock. So what you would do, you would draw your little hand towards the 8 and your long minute hand towards the 12. So it should look a little hand towards the 8 and a long hand towards the 12. And then you'd write the digital time on your line there, and you would write 8 dot dot 0 0. Our last question on this page, it says, look at the hour hand, what is the time? So you look, it's pointing to the 7. The hour hand they're just showing you is pointing to 7, so that would be 7 o'clock. So we're going to bubble in the first one there, 7 o'clock. Now the next part of our packet has the homework, and you should be able to figure out the homework now after practicing that together. At the bottom, you're going to draw a clock. Don't forget to look at your mouse clock to see the numbers, how they go around with a 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom, 3 on this side, 9 here, and your numbers in between. I wanted to show you 2 of the math problems on the back of that because we haven't reached the chapters where we add these bigger numbers, and I wanted to demonstrate that for you. So the first one is 40 plus 30. It looks like this. 40 plus 30. Well, when we do this kind of problem, I like to line it up underneath like this. So I would write the 40, and I'd put the 30 underneath, put my plus off to the side. Now I want to split it into tens and ones, and I always start in the one side to add first. So I would have 0 plus 0 is 0, and then I have 4 plus 3, and we can catch 4 and count 3 more. 4, 5, 6, 7. So my answer for 40 plus 30 is 70. There's one more problem like this. It looks like this. They have 53 plus 30 equals. So that's what the problem looks like this. Now I want to move it to line it up this way. 53 with 30 underneath. Put my plus off to the side. Split into tens and ones, and I always add the ones first. 3 plus 0 is 3. 5 plus 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 8, and my answer should be 83. I hope you've enjoyed working on telling time to the clock and learning about some bigger addition problems.